Hello and good day to you. My name is Aaron Kollick, and I am one of your directors of Children, Youth, and Family Ministries at Grace Lutheran Church in Carrollton, Texas. Welcome to the last GrOW video of the year. We have New Year's approaching on us. We're still in the Christmas season, so Merry Christmas. And I am going to do something very personal today. We are going to be talking about some of the songs and moments that really shaped me and my ministry, and why I put so much stock into music, and why doing these kind of devotions and doing this GrOW series for you guys has been really special to me, and why I think it's important to surround ourselves with good vibes and things like that. So, all that to say, we got a lot to talk about, so let me get into it. Our theme for today is transformed. Not Transformers, but transformed, and what exactly that means. I'm going to read to you first our Bible verse, and then we're going to talk about the music, and we might, swing back by this Bible verse maybe once or twice. Our verse today is Romans 12, verses 1 through 2. I'll be reading from the New Living Translation. This is Paul writing to Rome, as it were. And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all that he has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way that you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. That is absolutely 100% my favorite section from the Bible. These two verses have changed my life in so many ways, and I quote this often. The songs that you're listening to today all have had deep impact with me, with one of them kind of. The first one that you guys listened to in this playlist was from Anthem Lights. It is a hymns medley. It has just a ton of things. Amazing Grace, Be Thou My Vision, Come Thou Fount. It is just this amazing medley of hymns. That is how I first loved Christian music, right? I think that's probably true for most people. You grew up in the church and you heard these amazing hymns, and these are the ones that really stuck out with me. Come Thou Fount, to this day, is probably my favorite hymn of all time. It is just so perfect, and I have a very deep connection with it. There's just so many hymns. I could go on and on and on. I could do a whole series on the hymns, on why they're important, and what they've done for me. But that's just kind of a good example of a lot of them that have. The next one was from an old school Christian band named DC Talk. This is I'm gonna be bold to say it's the very first Christian band I'd ever heard, and this is the second song I'd ever heard from a Christian band. The first being from DC Talk, a song called Jesus Freak. And What If I Stumble is just this amazing story of forgiveness and grace, and I heard this and it just moved me in a way, and I loved this album, this Jesus Freak album. I bought their book that's about martyrs. Again, whole series on why that album and that band and this song have really shaped me. And the song you're going to listen to after this is by Lecrae. We've heard one song of his before called Drown. This is the first song I'd ever heard from him, called Jesus Music, back in 2006 or 8 or something like that. It might not be your cup of tea, but this is the song that got me to kind of devote full time into Christian music for me. I listen to a lot of rap and I listen to a lot of hip hop, and primarily if I listen to it now, it's usually Christian rap. And that really goes to Lecrae, and it has changed the way I act and the way I talk and the way I feel and the way I worship. It has been life-changing for me. Y'all, the idea that our environment doesn't shape us is folly. My dad, when I was growing up, he would tell me, be careful of who you hang out with and who you surround yourself with, because it's a lot easier for them to bring you down than for you to lift everybody else up. And that's not to say, don't preach to the downtrodden, to the sinners, and don't try to help them. It's not saying avoid them. It is saying be careful of your surroundings and be careful of what you are kind of indulging yourself in, right? When I listened to bad music, it made me a worse person. And that's just me. It might not be true for you, but it really did shape how I acted, how I talked, how I walked, who I talked to, the vernacular that I used. It was incredible, the change that it brought when I stopped listening to that. And I didn't notice it for years and years and years. I didn't notice it. And I didn't notice when I made the change. It just kind of dawned on me like, wow, I don't speak the same as I used to. When I changed my environment and I allowed God to be a bigger part of that, I was transformed. This letter from Paul in the beginning of this 12th chapter, the reason it means so much to me is because of the way that he says it. It's not turn or burn. It's not you better follow Jesus or you're going to rot. It's not about that. It's about him wanting to help and trying to be better. He wants you to be better. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way that you think. This is probably the biggest struggle I have as not only just a person, but as my ministry of I have this passion and this love of teaching Christ ministry. I think it's just the best, right? And I want my kids and our youth to understand this. And this is what I usually tell them, like, hey, I know that you don't think that watching this or listening to this or writing this or reading this makes a difference in your life, but I promise it does. And of course, when you're at a young age, you don't think that, like, it does not. Like, I am my own person. I am my own identity. But that's how it works. Like, we surround ourselves and we're like a sponge. We soak in things and eventually it becomes a part of who we are. And it's never too late to change that part of you. There are some parts of us that are inherent to who we are, right? I am who God made me to be. I have my personality. I have the way that I speak. I have the way that I think. I have my beliefs. And there are some hard, chiseled in stone parts of me. But who I was in my young 20s, in my teenage years, and even in my mid to late 20s is definitely not who I am now. My joke that I tell people is I could not hang out with 21 to 23-year-old Aaron. I could not. He would drive me crazy. I'd have to slap him. I'd have to slap him across the face multiple times, like, shut up. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I thought I did. I thought I knew everything. I think that's true for most people. But God transformed me when I started diving in a little bit deeper. When I started listening to the music. And when I started reading a little bit more. When I started putting people around me that weren't going to bring me down, I knew that God was transforming me. And it was then that I started to really hear and see God's will for me, which is good and pleasing and perfect. I hope that you are hearing me. I hope that you understand me. I hope that you've enjoyed these devotions. I don't know where you are. I don't know who you are listening to me right now. I don't know if your name is Joe. I don't know if your name is Chris. I don't know if your name is Diana. I don't know if your name is Samantha. I don't know who's listening to me. But listen to me. God wants to transform you in some way. And you might be in the middle of that transformation. You might be post-transformation and just needing a reminder. But God is working in you. And you need to listen. And you need to dive in to be able to hear that. So that you can hear God's awesome power and his plan and will for you. How you can do all that you need to do through God. We can be living in holy sacrifices simply just by doing that. I love you all. I hope you've enjoyed these devotions. This last one that we're doing for the year is going to be the last one we do for a while. We might pick it up later. We're not sure. We're going to kind of reevaluate and take a little bit of a break. So if you've missed any of them, feel free to go back and listen. But I hope this last one that we're doing lets you know a little bit about me, why I'm passionate about things like this, why this music matters, and why it's important, and these people singing it, what they're passionate about, and why they sing it. God bless you. Love you guys so much. Have a happy new year. Be safe.